Under the Argentine sky, there lived a beautiful lady with dark and sparkling eyes. My heart is in Rosario, you sentimente, there with a beautiful lady that I love the day that I die. My parents were richest estancieros. I was just one of the hands who herded their 10,000 cattle on their 10,000 acres of land. But I was a very poor cowboy. We lived in worlds far apart. How could I tell her I loved her, or speak of the love in my heart? The lady I love never loved me. The lady I love never knew the day that she married another. A poor cowboy's heart broke in two. But I know that she'll never miss me, or notice that I'm even gone. The cowboy who saddled her pony now lights through the dark night alone. My heart is in Rosario, under the Argentine sky. There lived a beautiful lady with dark and sparkling eyes. My heart is in Rosario, you sentimente, there with a beautiful lady that I love the day that I die. In Stephen's Green, I met a queen, a stranger to my town. A traveling band from a northern land had jewel all in their crown. I've heard it said from men long dead, don't trust the traveler's way. They'll break your heart and they'll depart before December day. All summer through our love it grew in the park beneath the trees. To heaven above our perfume love was carried on the breeze. We floated free in ecstasy, not knowing night from day. Far from my mind was work and ride, far, far December day. On an autumn eve, a dying leaf she played say, I love you, Tom, but I must move on, for that's the traveler's way. Home, sweet home, to call our own upon December day. Home, sweet home, to call our own upon December day. Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Or is there any ladies here? There is? There is yet. There's only yet. If we're sounding too loud, you might let us know and we'll turn it down a little bit more. Can The Village of the Stone, a song from Blarney. You don't mind? Very good. Okay. And if you know the chorus, you might as well join in and sing with us, because we're only lodgers in Blarney ourselves. Beneath her lofty tower, I spent my childhood days to while away the hours in oh such happy ways. Through the glades I wandered, a child to friends so true. Now across the sea you're calling to me, I'm coming home to you. Blarney, Blarney, village of the stone, calling, calling, absent friends back home. Blarney, Blarney, lesser in the groves, in all this fair land there is none quite so grand as Blarney, my village, my home. I recall those summer evenings I spent beneath the elms in the square, and listened to stories unfolding of those wonderful lands far away. With eager young heart bent on roaming, I left all my friends close and dear, and I traveled the globe from pointer to pole. Nowhere on earth could compare with Blarney, Blarney, village of the stone, calling, calling, absent friends back home. Blarney, Blarney, nestled in the groves, in all this fair land there's none quite so grand as Blarney, my village, my home. I've grafted would crush the old sailors, I've cursed every ocean and sea, I've sailed through the Straits of Magellan, survived in the cruel Timor Sea. I've seen all the lands of the dreamer, fair maidens with castles of gold, but their spells and their charms could do me no harm. I once kissed the old magic stone. In Blarney, Blarney, village of the stone, calling, calling, absent friends back home. Blarney, Blarney, nestled in the groves, in all this fair land there's none quite so grand as Blarney, my village, my home. In all this fair land there's none quite so grand as Blarney, my village, my home. This time we'll play a few polkas, so we haven't enough for the polka set yet, have we? Not in a moment, but God is good for the minute. Anyway, we'll play a few polka sets for you. I cry over you. I should be all over you. You were part of the past that was never meant to last. So why should I cry over you? We were travelers that met on life's highway, sharing our bread and our wine. We were good company, always feeling free, just friends that could leave any time. So why should I cry over you? I should be all over you. You were part of the past that was never meant to last. So why should I cry over you? Day by day seems easy. No plans, no promises, no ties. We needed no reason for staying or leaving. So why are there tears in my eyes? going to continue on with a song entitled The Singing Waterfall. So, once again, if you know the chorus of it, God knows you might join in and sing because I might forget a bit of it. So, if you feel like singing, you're very welcome. There's a singing waterfall in the mountains far away. That's where I long to be at the close of every day. That's where my true love's sleeping way down beneath the clay. I often sit and wonder why the Lord took her away. 'Cause we meet there every evening when the sun was sinking low. We listen to the waters as they ripple soft and low. But since she's gone to heaven, I miss her most of all. Tonight my darling's sleeping by that singing waterfall. Last night as I lay sleeping, I heard my true love call. So I went to meet her by that singing waterfall. I held her in my arms just like I used to do. And then I heard her whisper, we'll meet beyond the blue. 'Cause we meet there every evening when the sun was sinking low. We listen to the waters as they ripple soft and low. But since she's gone to heaven, I miss her most of all. Tonight my darling's sleeping by that singing waterfall. Tonight my darling's sleeping by that singing waterfall. This time, ladies and gents, it's a song entitled Mother Malone, and I'm sure you know the chorus to this one. So if you'd like to go for an old-time waltz as well, you're more than welcome. In here to the left is a fellow that and dance away to your heart's content. A song entitled Mother Malone. You may think by my line of discussion that I once kissed the old lonely stone. Sure I haven't, but I'll tell you a story. I often kiss Mother Malone. Some lads when they go out a courting, why they have not the pluck of a mouse. They stand on the corner and whistle. They're afraid to go into the house. But I always go in with me swagger, as if the old place was me own. And I'd sit myself down with good evening. How are you, old Mother Malone? And I'd kiss the old woman and hug the old man, give Johnny a shilling and shake hands with Dan, fight for a sister and do what I can. And then I'll go out with me girl Mary Ann. I'd only been courting a fortnight when our heart in our hand I had won. And the first time I went to the cottage, the old lady, she called me her son. I asked the old man for his daughter, his son-in-law he could be. He said, by my soul, Sean Nolan, you can have both the daughter and me. Now John is my Connie's big brother, with him I keep on the right side, and I kiss and I flatter his sister. She is my darling and pride. When I kiss the old woman and hug the old man, give Johnny a shilling and shake hands with Dan, fight for your sister and do what I can. And then I'll go out with the girl Mary Ann, and I'll kiss the old woman and hug the old man, give Johnny a shilling and shake hands with Dan, fight for your sister and do what I can. And then I'll go out with the girl Mary Ann. It's just 12 months this morning since I left my native land. Although it seemed long years ago since I held my mother's hand. Now that old lady, she did weep and wanted me to stay. She threw her arms around my neck, and these are the words she would say. Goodbye, my darling, on strange lands you may roam. Don't forget your mother, think of the ones back home. Angels will guide you when you're far out on the sea. May the angels above watch down my love and bring him home safely to me. Sometimes I get a letter from my home across the sea. They're all filled with loving words, everyone for me. Sometimes when I think of her at night when I'm in bed, then I cherish in my heart the words that my dear mother said. Goodbye, my darling, on strange lands you may roam. Don't forget your mother, think of the ones back home. Angels will guide you when you're far out on the sea. May the angels above watch down my love and bring him home safely to me. May the angels above watch down my love and bring him home safely to me.
Thank you very much indeed, and that's all for now. Your next dance in a few minutes. Thank you very much.
Black sheep. In a little village, not many miles away, there lived a rich Englishman whose hair was turning grey. He had 3 sons, the only ones, but Jack and Tom were sly. Ted was honest as could be, and would not tell a lie. They did their best to ruin Ted right in the old man's eyes. Soon their lives began to war, and Ted was most despised. One night the old man said, "Begone, you're heartless to the core." These are the words that the young lad said as he stood beside the door. Don't be angry with me, Dad, don't turn me from your door. I know that I've been wayward, but I won't be any more. Give me just another chance and put me to the test. You'll find that the black sheep loves his dad far better than the rest. Year after year passed slowly on, and the rich man's now grown old. He called together Jack and Tom and gave them both his gold. Say you'll only need a little room right at your fireside. Then one night Jack returning home, he brought with him a bride. His wife began to hate her father more and more each day. One night he heard a tree declare that he was in their way. They then agreed to send him to a workhouse that was near. And like a flash, the black sheep's word came ringing in his ear. Don't be angry with me, Dad, don't turn me from your door. I know that I've been wayward, but I won't be any more. Give me just another chance and put me to the test. You'll find that the black sheep loves his dad far better than the rest. A carriage pulled up to the door, it was the workhouse van. The lads then turned unto their dad and said, "Here is your man." Just then the manly form appeared, and pushing through the crowd, "Stand back, you brutes," the stranger cried, "this will not be allowed. You took this old man's property and all that he had said. You even sold his little plot containing mother's grave. I am his son, but not your kin, from this till judgment day." The old man clasped the black sheep's hand, and the crowd all heard him say, "Don't be angry with me, son, though I turned you from my door. I know that I was foolish, but I won't be any more. I should have given you my gold, for you have stood the test. I found that the black sheep loves his dad far better than the rest." Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I must say this is a great pleasure for me to be here tonight in Kilmurry. It's nearly 30 years ago since I met Patrick Callanan outside in Clonakilty, and he was courting Mary Hurley that time, and the so-and-so has the same glint in his eye tonight as he had 30 years ago. And that's a very good sign of a man, and I hope we get the tea tonight too before we're finished. So, with the help of John White here, how about a nice round of applause for John for all the music and all the song he's done all night. We're going to start off for you with a wee song from the north of Ireland, as they say, and it's called Kellyburn Braes. There was an old man lived in Kellyburn Braes, rightful tillyful day. Was an old man lived in Kellyburn Braes, and he had a wife as the plague of his days. It be rightful doll, tillyful doll, from the doll, the doll day. The devil he came to the man at the plough, rightful tillyful day. Devil he came to the man at the plough, sing one of your family, I mistake now with me rightful doll. Tillyful doll, from the doll, the doll day. So see my good man, I have come for your wife, rightful tillyful day. See my good man, I have come for your wife, for I know she's the plague and torment of your life. Me rightful doll, tillyful doll, from the doll, the doll day. The devil he hoisted her up on his back, rightful tillyful day. Devil he hoisted her up on his back, and down to hell he went with the pack. Me rightful doll, tillyful doll, from the doll, the doll day. There were two little devils a-playing with chains, rightful tillyful day. Two little devils a-playing with chains. She up with her stick and she knocked with her brains. Me rightful doll, tillyful doll, from the doll, the doll day. There were two other devils looked over the wall, rightful tillyful day. Two other devils looked over the wall. They said, take her away or she'll murder us all. That me rightful doll, tillyful doll, from the doll, the doll day. So the devil he hoisted her up on his back, rightful tillyful day. Devil he hoisted her up on his back, and back to the man he went with the pack. Me rightful doll, tillyful doll, from the doll, the doll day. So it's true that the women are worse than the men, rightful tillyful day. It's true that the woman is worse than the man, 'cause she went on to hell and was flung out again with me rightful doll, tillyful doll, from the doll, the doll day. Thank you very much. Well, we're going to stay in the north of Ireland for the next song, and this time it's a song called The Castle of Dromore, and it's in the very same key, John. D again. It's got an Irish chorus to it, and if you know it, you can sing it. Though ruined lie the old grey walls of the castle of Dromore, yet peace is in our lonely cot, my darling babe asthore. So rest a while in golden sleep, and hear the fairy song. Sing it. Sleep, hush, by low, low, long, low, long. Sleep, hush, by low, low, long. In lonely cot or in the hall of the castle of Dromore, our growing hopes or fading dreams that thrive or go before, let golden slumbers weave their web of happiness for you. Sleep, hush, by low, low, long, low, long. Sleep, hush, by low, low, long. The Bann may flood its winding banks near the castle of Dromore, yet no ill thing shall come between my babe and my heart's core. The little folk will smile over you from eve till morning dew. Sleep, hush, by low, low, long, low, long. Sleep, hush, by low, low, long. Thank you very much indeed. Of course, I don't come from this end of the county at all. Kilmurry is a place where there's fine flat fields. Well, I think there is anyway, even though we're on the top of a hill tonight. But the part of the country where I come from is the poor part of the country, a place called Ballylickey near West Cork. And the fields there are full of big stones and marshes, and that's why West Cork lads walk with the steps high up in the air like that to be dodging the stones. But there is one thing about the West Cork men: they'll never strike out in the morning without a fine breakfast. And a West Cork man's breakfast consists of, in the first place, a pint of boiling water to keep the kidneys regular, and then after that he'll have the juice of 3 or 4 crushed oranges, and then 3 or 4 plates of macroom oatmeal, which is the only good thing we ever got from this side of the country. And then he'll usually finish with what is known as the fry. And the fry consists of bacon and rashers, sausages, boiled eggs, fried eggs, black puddings, white puddings, and a thing you don't see much of at all nowadays, and that is fried bread, which is great for the rodella. We'll be talking about that later. In West Cork at the present time, you'll still see farmers setting off in the morning for the creamery in the Black Morris Minor with 2 buckets of milk inside in the back seat. Milk quotas don't bother them lads. And this particular farmer that I'm talking about was setting off after such a breakfast to the local creamery with the 2 buckets of milk inside in the back seat of the Morris Minor. Agus ní raibh shame have all she's and boher, he hadn't gone long down the road when he met a member of the travelling community thumbing on the side of the road, and he stopped and brought him in, and they were chatting about this, that and the other thing, and they hadn't gone long down the road at all when the breakfast began to tell in the West Cork farmer. How am I going to explain it tonight, John, to such a sophisticated gathering as we have here in the town of Kilmurry? Inside in Callanan's lounge, we'll never be allowed here again. The most polite way I can put it, I suppose I will not say it again. The most polite way I can put it is that he got an almighty urge to break wind. But he wasn't going to break wind in front of the travelling man. It would be a different thing if just the wife and kids were in the car. He'd play the mason's apron, all the 4 reels of it, parts of it for him. But he wasn't going to let himself down in front of the traveller, as I said. He thought he'd explode every mile of the road they went until whatever way he came round the corner. And what was on the side of the road? Only the biggest silage pit that you ever saw. And as they say, up here who wanted, down there for dancing. When he saw the silage pit, he opened down the window of the car, and the raw smell of silage came in the window. And when he thought the entire motor car was polluted with the smell of the silage, as they say in the West Kerry Gaeltacht, the Inshan Vart, the relief was unbelievable. And he turned to the travelling man and says, "Isn't there an awful bloody smell from the silage?" To which the travelling man replied, "Begod, sir, you must have eaten the world of it." Right. I think we're going to have a good night here. We're going to sing a song for you called Mount Massey, the Flower of Macroom. We're feeling kind of chirpy. And Christmas is coming. I long to remember those bright days of yore, which sweetly with joy I beguiled. The friends who frequented my old cabin door, and the comrades I loved when a child. How I long for to roam by Mount Massey's green grove, or poach by the light of the moon. That spot of my birth has no equal on earth, Mount Massey, the flower of Macroom. All together, so friends, come with me, and it's there you will see the apple and cherry in bloom. And 'tis you I'll invite, where I first saw the light, Mount Massey, the flower of Macroom. In the sweet summer time, when the season was fine, what fun there would be at the gate. The colleens would smile as they sat on the stile, and the sweethearts their love tales relate. When dancing was o'er, we'd stroll through the grove, each lad with his lassie in bloom. That spot of my birth has no equal on earth. Mount Massey, the flower of Macroom. Let's hear you. So friends, come at me, and it's there you will see the apple and cherry in bloom. And 'tis you I'll invite, where I first saw the light, Mount Massey, the flower of Macroom. So now I must roam from my own Irish home and range o'er the wide-ranging sea, to leave friends behind, both loving and kind, and the colleagues who dearly loved me. Though fortune may smile far away from our isle, I know that the day will come soon when I'll see once again that lovely domain, Mount Massey, the flower of Macroom. So friends, come at me, and it's there you will see the apple and cherry in bloom. And 'tis you I'll invite, where I first saw the light, Mount Massey, the flower of Macroom. Thank you very much. Well, I've tramped upon Crowden, I've camped upon Snowdon, I've lain by the Wainstones as well. I've been born to a cinder, sunbathing on Kinder, but many's the tale I can tell. For my rucksack has oft been my pillow, and the heather has oft been my bed. And sooner than part from the mountain I love, I think I would rather be dead. I'm a rambler down Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on a Monday, but I'll be a free man on Sunday. I've courted a maid, a spot welder by trade. She was fair as the cabbage in bloom, and the colour in her eye matched the red in my tie, and I loved her from April till June. But the day that we were to be married, I went on a ramble instead, and sooner than part from the mountain I love, I think I would rather be dead. I'm a rambler down Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on a Monday, but I'll be a free man on Sunday. I'll go where I will, over valley and hill. I'll roam where the heather lies deep, and I'll drink from the fountain, the clear crystal fountain, where rocks they are rugged and steep. And I'll see the white hare in the gully, and the corn out thy high overhead. And sooner than part from the mountain I love, I think I would rather be dead. I'm a rambler down Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on a Monday, but I'll be a free man on Sunday. I'm a rambler down Manchester way. I get all my pleasure the hard moorland way. I may be a wage slave on a Monday, but I'll be a free man on Sunday. Thank you very much indeed. Well, now you can take a bit of a rest from the dancing. John White, a small bit of a rest here. If you take the first turn left when you pass Ballylickey Bridge, where I saw the light of day myself, and go up the mountain road to a place called Cumhola, you will see a small whitewashed cottage with a thatched roof in it, and mother of God, look at him. And that is the ancestral home of the Murphys. Only nobody in Ballylickey would know these people as the Murphys. They're known as the Long Mickeys. And the minds of some people here tonight. And the reason they're known as the Long Mickeys is that sometime after the famine there was a little boy born to the Murphys, and they christened him Michal or Michael. And he grew, he never stopped growing till he was 6 inches taller than the bomber Lishton. And they christened him Michal Father or Long Mickey. And ever since the family are known as the Murphy Long Mickeys, or the Long Mickeys for short. But 'tis about the present generation of Long Mickeys that I want to talk to you here tonight in Callanan's Lounge in Kilmurry. The eldest boy was Donlin Long Mickey, and then they had twin girls, Marie Gretty Long Mickey and Bernadette Long Mickey. And then they got the television, and everything has its influence, and they call the next fella J.R. Long Mickey. And then they had a little black curly-haired girl in, they called her Alexis Long Mickey. And there was a young laddie and had the misfortune to be born one night in the middle of the late show, and they called him Gay Long Mickey. Can you imagine playing corner forward for Cork with a name like that? And me hollow mother's the commenting. But 'tis about the eldest boy, Donlin Long Mickey, that I want to talk to you tonight. Donlin Long Mickey was reputed to be the thinnest man that was ever born in Ballylickey. He was so thin that when he'd go into the shower on a Saturday night and pour the water on himself, the only part of him that he'd get wet would be the top of his head. And when he'd open the top button of his shirt, it'd fall off him clear and clean down on the ground. He used to spend all his daylight hours sitting up on a high stool in a bar in Ballylickey, drinking copious pints of porter and admiring whatever American women would be on their way through Ballylickey on their 6-day tour of Europe. Ballylickey used to get 5 minutes. And this particular day that I'm talking about, there was this magnificently sculptured young lady from Cincinnati, Ohio, came into the bar, and she sidled up to Donlin and she said, "Would you care to have a drink?" Would he what? He said he'd have a large brandy and ginger ale with a pint of Guinness to wash it down, and a Schimmelpinnick cigar to be sucking while he was at it. And they had one drink, and they had a second, and they had a third, and by this time they were on first-name terms with one another. And turning towards Donlin, she said to him, "Would you care to come for a ride in my Cadillac?" And as it was the first time ever he was in a motor car with the wheel on the wrong side, he said he'd chance it. So they headed off down the dual carriageway in Ballylickey, doing about 90 miles an hour, and they spent the entire evening touring around West Cork until the sun was setting in a golden ball over Bantry Bay. And turning towards Donlin, she uttered the immortal words, "Would you care to come back to my place?" Would he what? They drove up to this big American mansion with 6 aluminium windows double glazed across the top of it, and 3 teak windows on each side of a pure mahogany door downstairs. Duskel she and Doris, and she showed Donlin in ahead of her. She said, "Bundita Kota," she was after learning Irish by this. She said, "You go upstairs," she said, "take off your clothes, lie in the bed, I'll be up later." God, look at the interested faces appearing on the screen now. He took the stairs 4 steps at a time. He didn't open the door at all. He went clean through it. There were pieces of 5/8 chipboard flying all over West Cork after him. He opened the top button of his shirt and it fell off and his trousers fell down in sympathy. And there he was as his maker made him. But before he went into the bed, he knelt down at the side of it and he piously said his 3 Hail Marys for holy purity that his mother always told him to say, but he was kind of hoping that the man above might be gone on a tea break and that he wouldn't hear him at all. The lame stocks a lobbing, he jumped into the bed, and there he was gazing up at the candelabra in the ceiling, singing that immortal Irish love song of poetry and passion. Down the Boyne, she got it, and down the Boyne she'll get it again. Nobody knows how often she got it, and nobody knows when she'll get it again. When the door opened, and in walked the American lady with 3 small children by her side like the steps of the stairs. And turning towards the children, she said, "Children," she said, "I want you to take one look at what's inside in that bed. Because," she said, "if you don't eat your cornflakes in the morning, that's what you're going to be like when you grow up." Okay, John. Are you enjoying yourselves? No? Well, you can come up and sing yourself if you like, so. Okay. Give us a chord in G there. Come, boys, and you'll see lads and lassies full of glee, famous for all they would make your heart thrill. Now the boys, they won't harm you, the girls, they will charm you. Here's up 'em all, says the boys of Fairhill. So come, boys, and spend the day with our hurling club so gay. The clash of the ash, it would make your heart thrill. And poor old Sylvie's in the square, but Jimmy Barrymurphy's also there. Here's up 'em all, says the boys of Fairhill. Now come, boys, and spend the day with our bowl player so gay. The loft of a bowl, it would make your heart thrill. And when you'll hear the shay boy say, Timmy-dee-lee-nee, one-tidee, here's up 'em all, says the boys of Fairhill. And the Blackpool hens don't lay at all, and when they lays, they lays 'em small. Here's up 'em all, says the boys of Fairhill. And the Blackpool girls are grand and tall, up again the sunbeam wall. Here's up 'em all, says the boys of Fairhill. I'll tell me ma when I go home. They pull my hair and rattle my comb, but that's all right till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she's the belle of Belfast City. She is a curtain, 1, 2, 3. Please will you tell me who is she? Let the wind and the rain and the hail blow high, and the snow come travelling from the sky. She's as nice as apple pie, and she'll get her own man by and by. When she gets a man of her own, she won't tell her ma when she goes home. Let them all come as they will, for it's Albert Mooney she loves still. I'll tell me ma when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. They pull my hair and rattle my comb, but that's all right till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she is the belle of Belfast City. She is a curtain, 1, 2, 3. Please will you tell me who is she? Let the wind and the rain and the hail blow high, and the snow come travelling from the sky. She's as nice as apple pie, and she'll get her own man by and by. When she gets a man of her own, she won't tell her ma when she goes home. Let them all come as they will, for it's Albert Mooney she loves still. I'll tell me ma when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. Pull my hair and rattle my comb, but that's all right till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she's the belle of Belfast City. She is a curtain, 1, 2, 3. Please will you tell me who is she? She is a curtain, 1, 2, 3. Please will you tell me who is he? Let's hear you. Her eyes that shone like the diamonds, you would think she was queen of the land. And her hair it hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. Now if you'd like to go waltzing, this good music for her, we hope. As I came walking down Broadway, not intending to stay very long, I met with this frolicsome damsel as she came tripping along. A watch she pulled out of her pocket and slipped it right into my hand. And the very first day that you'll meet them, you're away down to Van Diemen's Land. Let's hear you. Her eyes, they shone like the diamonds, you'd think she was queen of the land. And her hair, it hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black ribbon band. will appear. A gentleman claimed his jewellery, and the case against us was clear. For 7 long years transportation, far away down to Bandyman's land, far away from my friends and companions, to follow her black ribbon band. Her eyes, they shone like the diamonds, you'd think she was queen of the land. And her hair, it hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black ribbon band. Come all you brave young Irishmen, a warning take by me. Beware of the pretty young damsels that are knocking around Tralee. They'll treat you to whiskey and porter until you're not able to stand. And the very first day that you'll meet them, you're away down to Bandyman's land. Let's hear you. Her eyes, they shone like the diamonds, you would think she was queen of the land. And her hair, it hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black ribbon band. One more time. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, you'd think she was queen of the land. And her hair, it hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black ribbon band. I'm sure you're anxious for more waltzing, so here's another one in the same key and the same tempo and everything, and I hope you recognize at least one of these songs. Is vocal in Misha the hewling along, the Cartorish na Harkus Baronan, Emonia and Loper a glow hearts a goil, Emisa a dre has summital. Need hold the men poigan on by ye bra, the Bacchus em Kyoto Bohugilera, near Reesrave Mahul and Mohicobra. Leshna Jodn and later Kilmurry. Is Horway, Hoppen in Fra. Is Horway, Shin come the Lord. Don Jogger and more this before Evelyn. Couldn't go him each line to Kilmurry. I've been a wild rover for many's the year, and I spent all my money on whiskey and beer, and now I'm returning with gold in red store, and I never will play the wild rover no more, and it's no, nay, never, no, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover, no, never. Westering home and a song in the air, light in the eye and it's goodbye to care. Laughter, oh love, and a welcoming there. I love my heart, my own one. Winter near her she card of a free. Baltigus made a bit roller gun thief. I did my freedom left rack one lay. Make better go home binder, and it's westering home and a song in the air, light in the eye and it's goodbye to care. Laughter, oh love, and a welcoming there. I love my heart, my own one. Now you'll take the high road and I'll take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland before you. For me and my true love will never meet bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Thank you very much indeed. You can take a rest from the dancing. Thank you. Two Americans who were coming to Ireland for the first time ever, and unlike most Yanks, they had no relatives in Ireland, no cousins, no parents, no grandparents, no grandchildren or anything. And everybody who knew they were coming to Ireland was saying, you got to visit Blarney Castle. Somebody else was saying to them, you got to visit the lakes of Killarney. Somebody else said, you got to visit Callanan's and Kilmurry. And somebody else, just as they were going on the plane, said, when you go to Ireland, make sure you drink plenty Guinness. So they came across the Atlantic, they landed over in Shannon Airport, they came out into the little self-drive car and in the Ennis Road, and he turned to her and he said, honey, what's this we were told drink? And she said, gee, darling, it escapes me. Well, he said, perhaps we'll see it advertised. So they came round the next bend in the road, and there was a big hoarding up on the side of the road, and it said, drink Andrews, makes you feel younger. And he turned to her and he said, honey, is that it? And she said, I reckon so. I think it finished with an S. So the two of them went into the nearest lounge bar, and your man slapped a $10 bill up on the counter, and he said, barman, he said, can you fill me 2 pints of Andrews? He said, what? He said, can you fill me 2 pints of Andrews? So we went into the back kitchen, he said, wait, he said, doesn't matter who outside, he'll over 2 pints of Andrews. Christ almighty, make him 2 pints of Andrews as quick as you can. So they went down the front and he filled him up the 2 pints of Andrews, and he drank his pint of Andrews and she drank her pint of Andrews, and he thought there was great cutting in it, and he turned to her and he said, honey, he said, you like it? So she said, yeah, very pretty drink. He said, barman, he says, give us 2 more pints of Andrews. He went mad in the back, which is right, he's gone stone mad all to the whole outside, gone stone mad. He wants 2 more pints of Andrews. He says, Nelly, will you fill him up for me there? So he brought him out the 2 pints of Andrews, and they were drinking. He was halfway down his second pint. He turned to her and he said, honey, he said, you like it still? She said, yeah, it's a gorgeous drink. And he said, but honey, he said, does it make you feel younger? She said, well, I don't know about making me feel younger. She said, but I sure done something childish. And one time driving around my own native West Cork, do you know one of these Yanks that have the small self-drive cars, and they usually button the clutch out of them in one day. And he was driving up a place called the Borland Valley, if anybody here ever heard of it. And the Borland Valley is a very dark and lonesome place to be when the night is falling, and there wasn't a hotel or a guest house or a bed and breakfast or anything or a light of one of them in sight. And he was wondering where he'd lay his bones that night, until he saw a little cabin inside at the end of the valley with a light shining out of it. And he walked up and he knocked on the door, and there was this fine West Cork woman came out, one of these West Cork women that comes out and goes in and comes out and forgets to go in again, that kind of a design of a woman. And she wiping her hands in her apron after she baking a batch of scones. And she had one look at him and she said, who have I here? He said, lady, he said, I'm Hank D. Hamburger Jr. the 4th from Minnesota, he said, and I'm lost. She said, come in, Hank, if you're lost no more. Come in. Sit down there, said she. We'll boil the kettle, said she, and we'll eat a few scones for each other. So they were there walloping down the scones, and the next thing, Nonie, for that was the woman's name, she heard the sound of a tractor coming up the glen. Well, she jumped up out of her mouth. She said, God almighty, Hank, she will put away the fucking scones quick, said she. That's my husband, Dinny, coming up the glen. And if Dinny says anyone eating his scones, there'll be murder in this house tonight, I tell you. The tractor switched off outside, and this old man came in with one eye in him, and a hump in his back, and a timber leg under him. And when you would look at the wife, you'd wonder how he got her, but he had the grass of the cows. And if we have that in West Cork, we'll get any woman who want. And he looked around the kitchen, and he saw Hank inside in the dark corner. He said, who's that whore there, says he. She said, lady, the wife says, that's Hank D. Hamburger Jr. the 4th from Minnesota, and he's lost. And she says, Denise, says, what's he doing in my house tonight? Says, Noni, I was thinking we could put him up for the night. And she'll say, don't you know, we've only the one bed. I know, says she, but I thought we could make suitable arrangements. So they said the rosary, and they went upstairs, the 3 of them. And Dinny thought he'd do Sean Murphy in it and pick the team himself. So he put the Yank in corner back near the wall with number 4 in his pyjamas. And then he went in the middle of the bed, full back himself. And he put Noni, the wife, out in the edge corner forward. And the Vigama has this agus ní raibh go halt, but the bed was very narrow, and every time one of them had to turn, the three of them had to turn, until they hit in a plan that every time they had to turn, they said, hen, do, three, year. And by the time it was 2 o'clock in the morning, the Yank had enough Irish to get the fine and no. And about 3:30, Denny sat bolt upright in the bed, and he turned and he gave Noni a dig under the ribs like that, which is the way West Corkmen wake their women in the morning. And he said to her, did you hear anything? So she, what did I hear? So she listened again, and she listened again. So she, is it the fox? So say, you're damn right, it's the fox. There won't be a chicken left this morning, let me out there, quick! So he hopped out over her, and he pulled on his cap and his Wellingtons, cause West Cork lads think they're fully clothed when the extremities are covered. That's why Dinny always kept an odd Wellington as well. And he headed off down the stairs, out the yard, and when she heard his footsteps declining over the other side of the yard, she put her hand down under the bed and she turned off the tape recording of the fox that she used to keep there for such occasions. And she turned into the Yank, and in her most seductive voice, and men of Kilmurry, if you haven't heard the West Cork woman at 4 o'clock in the morning, you haven't heard it yet. It is worth living to hear it. Hank, says she, now's your chance. And Hank hopped out over on the bed and he ran downstairs and he finished off the scone. Now, we'd like to see you have, because I want to hand you back to John White soon, because, you know, what time do we finish, Peter? Morning. Oh, I have a hope. Around 11:10, is it? 11:10. Okay. Oh, jeez, I'm after destroying your sign. Mother of God, that's the Cork flag, yes, for the All Ireland. Fruit, hang it. It is red, yeah. And there's a black line on top of it. I hope that's not a bad sign for next year. Right. Isn't that the height of ingenuity? Okay. Well, do you know, we like to see people dancing, so we'll do another old-time waltz for you, and we'll start off in the key of F with a song called Three Lovely Lasses from Banyan. My mother, she loves Larry Tompkins. Now we'd like to see you all dancing. There's three lovely lassies from Banyan, from Banyan, from Banyan. There's three lovely lassies from Banyan, and I am the best of them all, and I am the best of them all. And everyone loves Larry Tompkins, Tompkins,
Tompkins,
Tompkins,
Tompkins,
everyone loves Larry Tompkins, for he is the boy with the ball, for he is the boy with the ball. And my father has 40 white shillings,
shillings,
white shillings,
shillings,
white shillings.
shillings,
My father has 40 white shillings, and the grass of the goat and the cow, and the grass of the goat and the cow. I'm sending my shoes to be mended, mended, mended. I'm sending my shoes to be mended, and my petticoat to be dyed green, and my petticoat to be dyed green. Agus or buglamy, 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 or buglamy in Callanan down, or buglamy, tridlamy, corrigi, drear marvaka sheep took a shilum. There was a wild colonial boy, Tuggan was his name. He was born and raised in Ireland, in a place called Castlemaine. He was his father's only son, his mother's pride and joy, and dearly did his parents love the wild colonial boy. One day in Kilkenny I called on Miss Brown. She was up in her bath and she she wouldn't come down. Says I slip on something and come down quick. She slipped on the soap and came down in the tick. Tooraloo, tooralay, for the Queen of Society lives down our way. Ye maids of Duhallow who are anxious for courting, a word of advice I will give unto you. Go down to Bantier to the Athletic Sporting and hand in your name to the club committee. But do not arrange any sketch in your programme to the carriage you see coming over the hill and down through the valleys and vales of Kilmurry with our own darling sportsman, the Baltady Quill. For rambling, for roving, for football or sporting, drinking down porter as fast as you'll fill. In all your days roving, you'll find none so jovial as that Muscovy sportsman, the Baltady Quill. At the great hurling match between Cork and Tipperary, 'twas played in the park by the banks of the Dee. Our own darling boys, they were scared of being beaten. They sent for Baltady to Callanan. He hurled that ball right and left in their faces, showing the Tipperary boys training and skill. If they tread on his lines, sure he surely would brain them, and the papers were full of to praise of Tade Quill. For rambling, roving, football or sporting, drinking down porter as fast as you'll fill. In all your days roving, you'll find them so jovial as that Muscovy sportsman, the Baltady Quill. At the Cork exhibition there was a fair lady whose fortune exceeded $1,000,000 or more, but a bad constitution had ruined her completely, and medical treatment had failed o'er and o'er. Your mamma, says she, should I know what delays me and cure the disease that is threatening to kill? Give over your doctor, your medical treatment. I'd rather a tear out of Baltady Quill. For rambling, for roving, for football or sporting, drinking down porter as fast as you'll fill. In all your days roving, you'll find them so jovial as that Muscovy sportsman, the Baltady Quill. And I put your hands together for John White and Michael Barrett here for all the music they've played for me. Give them a nice big round of applause. And I'd like to thank Peter Callanan and his wife Mary for inviting me here tonight to Kilmurry. And I hope you've enjoyed what I have done for you. And I hope to have the pleasure of seeing you sometime again. And now it gives me very great pleasure to hand you back to John White. What are you going to sing for them, John? A song made popular by Daniel O'Donnell, I do believe, and it's called Donegal Shore. So, nice round of applause now for John White and Michael Barrett for the rest of the night.
Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Sean O'Shea. Thank you.
Of days that are gone and returning no more. For the girl I dream of has another man's love, far, far away on a Donegal shore. But why should I care? For she's happy over there. She may children, she may be wealthy or poor, but I can't help my dreams of what might have been if I stayed at home on my Donegal shore. Now it's winter time there, all the trees will be bare, and the rain clouds will darken my native Gweedore. But if that girl I could hold, every rain cloud will go, if to fall all around us on my Donegal shore. Before she took his name, when she told me she loved him, it hurt to the core. But I could never descend to be only her friend, so I left her there on my Donegal shore. Now it's winter time there, all the trees will be bare, and the rain clouds will darken my native Gweedore. But if that girl I could hold, every raindrop would be gold, if to fall all around us on my Donegal shore. If to fall all around us on my Donegal shore.
Thank you. Ladies and gents, there's a very special request, and this is coming from the dancing side of the house, to play a military two-step and the gay gardens and also the barn dance. So we'd like to see as many as possible in there for the next 5 or 10 minutes, and we'll have a blast, will we? Well, we'll make it 5 minutes, I maybe better. for Mrs. Elliott. Okay, very good. So I'm sure Mrs. Elliott will come out and give her a nice round of applause.
An American landed on Erin's green isle. He looked at Killarney in rapturous smile. How can I buy it? He said to his guide. I'll tell you how, with a smile he replied. How can you buy all the stars in the sky? How can you buy two blue Irish eyes? How can you purchase fond mother's song? How can you buy Killarney? Nature bestowed all her gifts with a smile. The emerald, the shamrock, the blarney. When you can buy all these wonderful things, then you can buy Killarney.
A nice round of applause for Mrs. Elliott, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the style. Give her a very big hand. Lovely. Lovely. This time there's a very special request for a song from Kevin Lynch. So give Kevin a nice hand. I'm sure he'll come up and sing for us.
Over the moorland and over the lea, across the Atlantic, oh what do I see? The high hills of Antrim, the coastline of Clare, and the green fields of Ireland will welcome you there. We are an island way out in the sea. We are the Irish as proud as can be. In soft summer breezes or wild winter winds, our hearts in the green fields of Ireland. I stand by the harbour, oh what do I see? A great ocean liner is waiting for me. There's young people leaving for lands far away. All they ask is the right for to go or to stay. We are an island way out on the sea. We are the Irish as proud as can be. In soft summer breezes or wild winter winds, our hearts in the green fields of Ireland. I pray that the end of our troubles will come. We'll bury the hatred along with the gun, and the neighbour, once my enemy, will call me his friend, and the green fields of Ireland will be peaceful again. Come on, Paddy, help me out there. We are an island way out on the sea. We are the Irish as proud as can be. In soft summer breezes or wild winter winds, our hearts in the green fields of Ireland. We are an island way out in the sea. We are the Irish as proud as can be. In soft summer breezes or wild winter winds, our hearts in the green fields of Ireland. Thanks very much, Dad. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Michael Lynch. Kevin, is it? Kevin Lynch is right. Give Kevin a nice round of applause. That's the style. Thank you very much indeed. Well, now we better keep the people inside the other dancers happy, so we're going to play the band dance next. That was a very short barn dance, but they packed up inside, that's why. Can we blame me at all? They pulled the plug on me inside, is that right, Patrick? That is fair play. Now, we have another lady. Anne O'Callaghan. Mrs. Anne O'Callaghan to sing for us, okay. So give Mrs. O'Callaghan a nice round of applause. By the way, ladies and gents, we had a gentleman earlier tonight. Richie Murphy sang for us earlier tonight, and God knows, after his singing, I forgot his name, would you believe it? So Richie, a nice round of applause for Richie, because you'll see it. Yeah. And I shouldn't forget it, because you could always think of Murphy's stout. But anyway.
It was on a bright and clear St. Patrick's morning, with thoughts of home my heart felt sad and sore. Stood thinking of my dear old Irish mother, as she plucked the three-leaf shamrock from green oak. It's the king of all the flowers in Killarney. Sure the likes of it you never saw before. And it grows among the rocks of Irish grandeur. It's that little three-leaf shamrock from green oak. I have sailed across the broad Atlantic Ocean. I have traveled o'er the sunny southern shore, but there's nothing fills my heart with such devotion as that little three-leaf shamrock from green oak. Now my mother, she is growing old and feeble, as she sits outside her lonely cabin door. As she sits, a vigil watch is always keeping on that little three-leaf shamrock from green oak. It's the king of all the flowers in Killarney. Sure the likes of it you never saw before. And it grows among the rocks of Irish grandeur. It's that little three-leaf shamrock from green oak.
Mrs. Anne O'Callaghan, give her a nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That's the start. Thank you. No problem. Ladies and gents, as we're coming very close to the end of the evening, we have one more singer, I believe. But anyway, before the next singer, there's a very special request to do a song that we recorded a few years back, I suppose. God knows time is flying like. It waits for no man or woman. What's that? I'd love to do a few, Richie, but I'm forgetting the words of it. And that's being honest. But I tell you what we'll do instead, we'll do the Roads of Kildare. Okay? So, and if you'd like to take the floor, grand job, but don't take the cameraman for God's sake.
born in a mansion down in the county of Clare. Rosie was born by the roadside somewhere in County Kildare. Destiny brought them together on the road near Kilmurry one day. Neath her bright tasty shore she was singing as she stole this young heart away. For she sang, meet me tonight at the campfire, come with me over the hill. Let us be married tomorrow, please let me whisper I will. What if the neighbors are talking? Who cares if your friends stop and stare? You'll be proud to be married to Rosie, who was reared on the roads of Kildare. Think of the parents who reared you, think of the family name. How can you marry a gypsy? Oh, what a terrible shame. Parents and friends, stop your pleading. Don't worry about my affair, for I've fallen in love with a gypsy who was reared on the roads of Kildare. And she sang, meet me tonight at the campfire, come with me over the hill. Let us be married tomorrow, please let me whisper I will. What if the neighbors are talking? Who cares if your friends stop and stare? You'll be proud to be married to Rosie, who was reared on the roads of Kildare.
This time, ladies and gents, we'd like to hear you all sing. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer do. Let's hear you sing it, come on. So man, know all money. There won't be a stylish marriage, we can't afford the carriage. When you look sweet going down the street on a bicycle made for two, if you'll take the high road, I'll take the low road. I'll be in Scotland before you, for me and my true love never meet again on the bonny, bonny banks of Loch Lomond. When I was a lad, tiny wee lad, my mother said to me, go see those northern lights, my boy, they're bright as day can be. Calling them the heavenly dances in the sky. I'll never forget the wonderful sight they made the heavens bright. Let's hear you sing. The northern lights of old Aberdeen are home, sweet home to me. The northern lights of Aberdeen are where I long to be. I've been a wanderer all of my life, and many's the sight I've seen. Godspeed the day when I'm on my way to my home in Aberdeen. Special request this time for Miss Helen Halloran. So give her a nice cool box, that's the style.
Many homes are filled with sorrow and with sadness. Many hearts are filled with anguish and with pain. For old Ireland now she hangs her head in mourning for those men who died for often for Sinn Féin. Let the moon shine out tonight along the valley, where those men who fought for freedom now are laid. May they rest in peace, those men who died for Ireland. Round the lonely walls of Upton for Sinn Féin. Some are thinking of their mothers, wives and sweethearts. More are thinking of their dear old Irish songs. Do they think of how they drilled along the valley as they marched from Cork City to their dooms? Let the moon shine out tonight along the valley, where those men who fought for freedom now are laid. May they rest in peace, those men who died for Ireland. Round the lonely walls of Upton for Sinn Féin. The morning cry rang out, fix your bayonets. And those gallant men, they fixed it for the fray. Gallantly they fought and died for old Ireland. Round the lonely walls of Upton for Sinn Féin. Let the moon shine out tonight along the valley, where those men who fought for freedom now are laid. May they rest in peace, those men who died for Ireland. Round the lonely walls of Upton for Sinn Féin.
First to you, Helen. Now we have Denise Buckley to sing the next song for us, okay.
I was always light-hearted and easy, not a care in the world have I. For I know I am loved by a calling, and I couldn't forget if I tried. She lives far away over the mountains, where
last song of the evening, Patrick, is it? Okay. This time, a very special request for the last song of the evening from Derry Dunley.
Your eyes were as bright as they were the first night when we danced to an old-fashioned tune in a dusty old schoolhouse on a Saturday night. How we laughed as we waltzed round the room. You came from the valleys, the dark city alleys, to care for the young and the poor. With me, a young soldier with medals galore that I won in the African War. How my heart filled with joy as the others passed by the look in your eyes I well knew that never before, as we stepped round the floor, had they seen someone lovely as you. Your hair shone like gold, a joy to behold. Your beauty was known far and wide. There was many a young lad who'd lay down his life for one moment to be by your side. But you gave them no glance, you gave them no dance, as you gracefully stepped on the floor. With me, a young soldier with medals galore that I'd won in the African War. My heart filled with joy as the others passed by the look in their eyes I well knew that never before, as we stepped round the floor, had they seen someone lovely as you. When the morning had come and the dancing all done, we would walk in the dawn of the day. I would tell you tall stories of battles and glories, the comrades who fell in the fray. Now the years come and go, still the love that you show is as sweet and as warm as before. When I, a young soldier with medals galore, came home from the African War. How my heart filled with joy as the others passed by the look in their eyes I well knew that never before, as we stepped round the floor, had they seen someone lovely as you. That never before, as we stepped round the floor, had I seen someone lovely as you.
Thank you. Ladies and gents, before we finish, we hope that you've enjoyed yourself as much as we have enjoyed playing for you. If you enjoyed the music tonight, you might tell your friends. If you didn't enjoy yourself, for God's sake, keep your mouth shut. And you can play that pad over and over again. Anyway, thank you very much. Before we go, we'd like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Callanan for their hospitality and for having us here tonight. And we enjoyed ourselves immensely. We hope that you enjoyed yourself as well. Put your hands together also for all the ladies and the gents to come up and sang some fine songs for us during the evening. That's it. I don't mind if you clap for yourself. No. Very good. And by the way, if you'd like some of our tapes, we have some tapes on sale as well. We have a new tape out entitled The Swinging Waterfall. So anyway, here we go with a song that's recorded many years ago entitled The Little Shirt My Mother Made For Me. And God knows I tell you, it is well worn out, I can tell you. Anyway, what's that? So there I know. But the shirt is on now, Patrick. Oh, 'tis well I remember the day that I was born. 'Twas on a very cold and frosty morn. The doctor said I was a chubby chap. When the nurse, she sat me on her lap. Oh, she washed me all over, I remember. And when she finished powder puffing me, She put me in the cradle by the fireside in the little shirt me mother made for me. First day I wore my knickerbockers. They seemed so funny after wearing frocks. I looked a little picture they did say. And when they let me out to run and play, I didn't like the pants that I was wearing. Straight away I took them off, you see. And I started walking home so brave and daring in the little shirt me mother made for me. Woo! One day when I was on my holidays, across the briny ocean I did gaze. The water looked so good I thought I'd go in for a dip, but in the meantime, oh, all the ladies on the beach at me were gazing. Some were taking pictures, don't you see? 'Twas a bloody good job for me that I was wearing the little shirt me mother made for me. All the ladies on the beach at me were gazing. Some were taking pictures, don't you see? 'Twas a bloody good job for me that I was wearing the little shirt me mother made for me. Denjo Kelleher, God knows I tell you, I nearly forgot about you, Denjo. Well, I know that, you see, but the problem, Patrick, is when he goes home with that yoke, like, he can make a right idiot out of me. He might make me Daniel O'Donnell too, like. Anyway, good night, God bless you all, and safe journey home to everybody. Thanks once again to Mr. and Mrs. Callanan and their family for having us. Good night, God bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Good night. God bless you.